1,334 tons or 92 double-decker buses. That is how much additional plastic waste Singapore generated from just takeaway and delivery meals within the 8-week circuit breaker period between April 7th and June 1st. In this first episode of our series on sustainable eating, we look at how some businesses are tackling the issue of waste, from the ingredients we use to the food we eat and the packaging it comes in. Now, as we all know, packaging waste is a huge part of the problem. But here at Grand Hyatt, they've found some innovative solutions for that. Sebastian, could you tell us more about your sustainable packaging?
It would be my pleasure. So what you can see is a small inside of packaging we utilize at Grand Hyatt Singapore. All of them are Forest Stewardship Council certified. So all materials are compostable, biodegradable, and obviously of organic material. All the way to different kind of straws, which are done with sugarcane fiber, and even the stirrer of your coffee is made out of wood. No more plastic bottles. We collaborate with Just Water. It's a complete plant-based water bottle made out of paper as well and cornstarch, the top. So all this could actually go to our food digesters.
Aside from packaging, the hotel uses sustainable ingredients where possible and has a nose-to-tail program, where the whole carcass of the cow is imported to minimize wastage. So you say nose-to-tail. What does that mean actually?
Actually, nose-to-tail means to get the whole carcass of cow to the hotel. We're using actually from the tail to the head all the parts of the cow, except of course offals or the blood. But it means the bones, the fillets, the ribs, everything will be used in the kitchen.
Well, so around how many percent of the cow do you think we have here?
Of course, we're getting in around 85% of the whole cow to the hotel.
But with our consumption habits, food waste is still a major problem in Singapore. In 2019 alone, 744,000 tons, or over 2,100 airplanes worth of food, ended up in the bin, about 33% more than what we threw away as a nation in 2007. And about 40% of that comes from the commercial and industrial sectors, including hotels, restaurants, supermarkets, and food manufacturers. So Sebastian, other than packaging waste, obviously a big part of the waste that comes out of hotels and restaurants is food waste, right? Whether in the kitchens or from people's leftovers. So how does Grand Hyatt deal with it?
So we have different aspects of how we manage our food waste. One of them is a preventive system we have in place, which really monitors any kind of food aspects coming from the hotel, from the purchasing, all the way to the kitchens, to the end consumer and back to us. And from there we are able to really narrow the gap and understand in a holistic manner how we can fine-tune our menu offering, what we can do to menu engineer certain items, and really understand what are the items we are really having a lot of waste of. Next would be plate waste. Plate waste is obviously all the returning plates from the restaurant to our stewarding area. What is actually left on the plate? Is there a way, are we portion sizing too big? Are our side dishes too large in quantity? What can we see coming back from the dining guests, how we can fine-tune our menu offering? And last but not least as well is the buffet waste. We don't have the container here right now because it's an example from Mezzanine, but buffet waste is one of the largest waste areas we have in the hotel. So we can also fine-tune from there. If we every day realize and we record a kilogram of wastage or overage of rice, cooked rice, would it make sense that the chef maybe cook 500 grams lesser or a kilogram lesser? And from there you can really tweak and understand in an overbroad view how you can fine-tune the food wastage.
Now that we have all this food waste, what happens to this particular basket of trash?
I'm very glad you asked. Let me show you. Maybe it's a bit heavy. We put this back on the side.
Okay.
Once the container is with scrap waste fully filled, we will transfer this to our in-house waste management system. So it's a circular environment from any food wastage turning into organic, pathogen-free fertilizer, which is in 24 hours, which is important to note obviously as well.
The compost created is used in the hotel's rooftop herb garden. But leftovers from Grand Hyatt's buffet tables don't all go in the digester. In 2018, Grand Hyatt collaborated with Treatsure, an app which links businesses and consumers to buy and sell surplus food.
We actually started in 2017, and that's where we worked with F&B players, like bakeries and small little F&B outlets and then we helped to divert the surplus food at the end of the day to consumers. 1 year later, we actually expanded into hotels and buffet chains because we realized that there was so much more food across the day, right? Breakfast, lunch, high tea, dinner. And we came up with a solution called the buffet in a box, which typically when you go to the hotel buffets, you could actually do a takeaway of food from the buffet lines in the last stretch of each meal, before they clear, of course. And this food can be chosen by you and selected into this box where you can take it home.
So aside from the hotel buffets, you also do groceries, right?
We do. So there's a separate business segment within our app that deals with groceries, surplus groceries in particular. We have different categories of surplus coming from wholesalers, distributors, importers. One very common one would be expiring products like, say, all these chips or popcorn or even muesli. These are actually short-dated products that cannot make it on the shelves of retailers and supermarkets anymore. Treatsure does a service where we actually help to rescue some of these, put it on our platform for resale. Within a very short time span, it could be as short as 1 day, or it could be as long as probably 6 months.
Okay, so other than expiring, what are some other sort of categories of stuff that you have?
Yeah, so apart from the near expiry ones, we also have what we call imperfect ones. Imperfect blemished products, like this, you can see.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's a little bruise.
Correct. So this apple is bruised, but we will tell customers that that's actually perfectly fine because the inner part of the apple is actually perfect. Likewise for imperfect packaging, this product is dented or like torn,
Okay, yeah, it's a bit
creased,
scuffed.
but these products will not make it at the first cut to even the retail level. So when it arrives in Singapore and due to different reasons this torn packaging appears, it cannot be sold.
So that sounds like a lot of categories of food that gets thrown away: expiring, blemished, excess. So actually, when you go down to these warehouses, right? What is it like? Is it piles and piles of just wasted food?
I mean, imagine like we go to the supermarket, you see shelves and shelves of food, and think about, of course, like those that are unsold. There will be a fraction of those shelves. But we have so many supermarkets and so many retail shops and all that. So when you combine all the excesses that will probably accumulate at the distributor level, it will be massive. You would see in the warehouses, which I've seen for myself, stacks and stacks, pallets and pallets of a lot of food. So think of this like maybe times
Oh no.
yeah, thousands, I think.
We've seen how some businesses are helping to save our one and only planet, plastic spoon by plastic spoon. But what can we do? Well, to begin with, we can start by practicing responsible consumption and buying only what we need. We can also adopt a small plates concept and cooking in smaller portions. And whatever we have left over, we can consider donating it to a food bank, such as the Food Bank Singapore. And of course, the easiest of them all, we can just bring along our own reusable containers. Join me again in our next episode as I continue to learn more about how we can feast without eating away at our precious planet. See you then!